I just really struggled with all of it, with a lot of things, and God, it's hard to talk about. I'm here to stay, so you might as well subscribe, because basically I'm going to be making a video every single week for the foreseeable future, and there'll be more that you've been requesting coming up. Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to talk about my weight gain journey. It's kind of something that I've been keeping really quiet, because I guess I was sort of worried about the perception from people, because I'm quite known for my weight loss, because I've lost a lot of weight, and it's something that I wasn't really admitting to myself that I needed to do for a long time, because although I've been preaching like don't fixate on weight, like don't worry about being heavy, I myself worry about being heavy which is completely contradictory. But I think a lot of the time my personal Instagram is sort of my journal, and the stuff that I'm thinking about and I'm trying to encourage myself to do, I write about. So I thought I'd be a bit honest about that. So for a long time I've been around 80 kilos. Now I'm sitting at 88 kilos, which is a lot heavier than I've been in a long time. Well, it's a lot heavier than I've been since the weight loss. I've never had like this amount of muscle mass, and because I've still got my biceps, I'm still like pretty lean up top, but I'm now 88 kilos, and I haven't been that weight and like lean and muscly at the same time before. So I'm in the bedroom at the moment because I want to show you something that I've got recently. This is not a sponsored video, this is just me wanting to tell you guys, because I know a lot of you like me struggle with mental health. I have been struggling quite a lot with PTSD, so I wake up in the middle of the night. It's really hard. It's hard for me to even describe what's going on, but it's not great. This company, Remy, reached out to me and they said, we'd love you to try our weighted blanket. We think it will help you both with your athletic performance and recovery, so like recovering from all my training sessions and helping with my anxiety and my bipolar symptoms. And that I've always been interested in weighted blankets. I work in a mental health school and we use them a lot with the kids, like some of the classrooms have them in. So we got in contact and I told him how heavy I was, and they said that they were going to send me a 12 kilo double-sized one. You need like a certain percentage pressure for the weighted blanket to actually be effective. So because I'm like strong and quite tall, they sent me a big one. I really wanted to see if it had any effect, and honestly it's really heavy. I'm like, oh. I'll put it on me. Yeah, so it's really heavy. There we go. Oh, it's so nice. It's just like a massive hug. Honestly, it's the most calming thing ever. I can't even, because obviously I struggle with bipolar symptoms. I have some days where my mood starts to rise a little bit, and I was feeling quite agitated a couple of weeks ago, and Martin said to me, why don't you just try the weighted blanket? And I put it on and honestly everything just melted away. I was just almost suddenly so calm. And I feel like it now actually. I was a bit anxious before I started doing this video. You can actually, what I didn't realise is you can sleep with these on as well, and this is a sleeper one. So we have this on top of the bed, and I don't wear it every night, but I have it on some nights, especially if I'm feeling particularly anxious or particularly tired and stuff from exercise, and I will use it. I would massively recommend anybody that struggles with anxiety or depression or anything like that, and they find sensory tools really helpful, or if they need like a big squeezy hug when they're not feeling great, yeah, I would really recommend this. It's changed a lot of things for me. I've been going through quite a tough time over the last couple of months. This has just really helped. It's honestly, it's mad that it's like helped so much, but the first night I tried it I was just like, how can a blanket with literal like weights in it, how can a blanket have this massive effect on my mood? Yeah, I might take it with me actually to film the rest of the video, because I just feel like I just want to be in this cocoon. Right, so I'm going to take the weighted blanket with me and let's go and talk about my weight gain journey. I don't know what to call it. My journey back to normal eating habits, I think, after weight loss. Let's go with that. It's so heavy. I am taking the weight blanket. It's super heavy though. It's like carrying a sandbag. But I really want to bring it to the other room because it's so nice. There we go. I'm not quite gonna have it on my shoulders like that because it is, it's heavy. So basically, in about June time, I had a realisation that I was kind of under eating. I'd noticed I'd really struggled. I've had an eating disorder for quite a few years. Since I was a teenager I had bulimia, and also I struggled a lot with body dysmorphia and like feeling like my body is much bigger than it is, which was really hard for me. I think it's hard to talk about this because it's just so, it's like quite a touchy subject for me. So I've always been really heavy, and I was, by the time I was 13, I was about 12 stone, which is, I'm gonna look it up in like pounds and kilos so that you know. So that's 76 kilos, so 76 kilos or 168 pounds by the time I was 13. I felt huge. I knew that that was a heavy weight. I was seeing on all of these like UK TV programs, all of these older ladies saying, and they were bigger females, and they were like, I feel massive, I feel really overweight, I'm 12 stone, I need to lose weight. So in my head I thought, well, I'm 12 stone, that means that I need to lose weight. And I was really skinny. I was a UK size like 8 to 10, so I was thin, didn't have much muscle mass, but I had bigger legs than most people. But that's essentially when the eating disorder started. And then after that, after I went to uni, my eating just started to spiral, and that's when I ended up gaining a lot of weight. And I felt like, because I had the body dysmorphia, I felt like I'm already fat, so what's a bit more fat, even though I wasn't actually fat. I didn't care. I had no self-value either because of the abusive relationships that I've been through. I just really struggled with all of it, with a lot of things, and hard to talk about. I just really struggled, and then I gained all the weight, and then obviously, as you know, in 2016 I was diagnosed with bipolar affective disorder, and after that they told me that lifestyle changes would help, and along with that came me kind of rejigging my diet. And I recovered from the eating disorders by tracking macros, by teaching myself about how to get enough protein and to fuel my body with all the right vegetables, because I wasn't eating any vegetables before. I hated vegetables, so I taught myself to like those things. I started to look at it from a place of self-love and giving my body what it needed, as well as doing the training that I was doing that was like kind of helping me perform like functionally. Like CrossFit is a very functional sport and it helps you do stuff in your life, and at that point I was at a place where I wasn't particularly functional in my life. CrossFit gave me that back, and then the weight started to come off. And I tracked my calories. I stopped tracking macros because I found that quite difficult after a while, just because it was quite, I couldn't move about my meals and stuff. So I went from tracking macros back to tracking calories. I was sort of kind of figuring out how to eat again and how to be kind of methodical. I was making sure I got enough food, but I was still maintaining my weight, and I felt like I couldn't trust my body to know what it needed, so intuitive eating was not an option for me. And I did try it a couple of years ago, but I honestly started binging again, so I already know that wasn't an option. So I just continued tracking calories kind of loosely, eating similar things, and then yeah, I realised I wasn't tracking for like a day or so, and then I was like, why don't I try and come off this and try and stop tracking? Because there was some anxiety around not tracking, I would have days when I wouldn't track at all, but I was just, I don't know, I felt like I couldn't do it all the time, because I felt like if I did, I would go back to binging again, and that's something I was really scared of. And then over lockdown, I started training really hard actually, and I started cycling. I had a bit of a wobble. I gained weight because I was maybe eating a little bit more, but I was also training a little bit harder, and my boyfriend had moved in with me, which is really nice actually, but he eats really intuitively. all of the time, just eats what he feels like, and I was like having like bits of what he was having as well as my normal food. I'd stopped tracking actually. I think I was tracking loosely, but the more we got together and the more I started being with him when I was eating, the less I could track, because I would make a meal for both of us and then I'd split it in half, which works, but it also kind of doesn't. And then I was eating more at work, and I can't track my meals at work because we get school dinners, which is super cool that they give us like free food, but you can't track school dinners easily. So I literally couldn't tell what calories I was having during the day. So yeah, I just started to slowly let go of that and stop tracking. I gained a bit of weight after coming off SAS Who Dares Wins actually, and then I just continued to eat throughout that period of time. And then I had a bit of a meltdown around January-ish, around the start of lockdown, and I was like, right, I'm really heavy. I was like 82 kilos. I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to be heavy. It's gonna make all of my gymnastics really hard. I can't do it. I need to diet. What I came to realise, and through chats with my boyfriend, is that I didn't need to lose weight. And he was like, we had this chat and I spoke about it, and I'm like, I'm not actually sure if I want to lose weight. I had recognised that I was focusing on this like arbitrary number for no reason. I wanted to be under 80 kilos because, and I guess like the 12 stone, I felt like there was something attached to that number. There was no other reason other than like worrying about being heavy for gymnastics. And I mentioned that to him, and Martin was just like, why don't you just get stronger so you get better at gymnastics? Yeah, maybe you get heavier, that just means you have to get a little bit stronger. But one thing you can't do is gain muscle in a calorie deficit. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So why would I think it's any different from anyone else? And I was saying to Martin as well, I was like, I just want to be like you. I want to be able to eat how I feel. I want to be able to train in the day and just be able to intuitively know what my body needs, but I feel like I can't trust myself. And he was like, why don't you try it? Why don't you just see what happens? Just kind of eat how you feel for a while and see what happens, and you might find you've got more energy. I started to eat how I felt. Eat for performance, and I also started cycling, and I had so much energy for cycling. I actually struggled at the beginning because when I started cycling, I hadn't started this. I was trying to diet and cycle at the same time, and cycling burned so many calories. So when I'd started to eat for performance, I noticed a huge difference. My speeds were going up. I was just like super happy with how my cycling was going, and also I started to see improvements in my CrossFit performances. I was PBing some of my lifts. So I'll show you a quick breakdown of my weight gain journey. So I've got a set of smart scales, and ignore the goal weight bit, that's not relevant. We go year. So you can see across this year the kind of the weights that I was. So January I was 82. I was trying to lose weight during this time. I was like trying to cut my calories to go down a little bit because I didn't want to be heavy anymore, and I was dieting and dieting, but I was dieting like sustainably and like a little bit, but because I was training hard and my training was going in the opposite direction. I was like training to gain muscle and training to get stronger, so I was gaining muscle but not really enough. So I wasn't achieving my strength goals, and I also wasn't achieving my weight loss goals because I wasn't losing weight, although I had got leaner, which is something I started to realise, that I was getting leaner but my weight was staying the same. And then that's what brought around the realisation that I was fixating on the number and not like the body fat or any of that. So yeah, so around April time I was about 83. I think this was it. I got down to like 82, and I was like, finally I'm starting to lose weight. I'll be close to that 80 kilos at some point. I think I wanted to be under 80 kilos actually. And I was like, it was just over a weekend. I just trained super hard. I weighed myself and I was 84 kilos. It just shot back up again. And that's it. And then it goes 83, and one of those will be 84. There we go, 84.2. And I just gave up. I was like, this is not working. Why is this not working? I'm trying to lose weight and I'm just not getting lighter. and we started to investigate that and like, why do I want to be lighter? Like, what do I gain from being lighter? Not really anything, because muscle by, I'll put a little infographic up, muscle by volume weighs a lot more than fat. So you'd have like, if you got the same weight bit of muscle and the same weight bit of fat, the bit of fat would be a lot bigger than the bit of muscle. Although I physically looked similar and like the same size or smaller, my muscle mass was increasing, which meant my weight was increasing. And then when I realised that I was fixating on a weight for no reason, I was like, I need to stop this. This ends here. I don't need to fixate on a weight anymore. And then that is when I started, and it's kind of like all in, which we realised afterwards, because I had watched Stephanie Buttermore's videos, but I wasn't following it, and I didn't have extreme hunger in the same way that she did. I was hungry, and my eating habits, when I started to go all in, my eating habits started to go up. I definitely started to eat a lot more, and I was probably eating about 3,000 calories, 3,300 maybe, so not as much as her. But I think because I hadn't been aggressively dieting so much, my extreme hunger was nowhere near as bad. But I definitely noticed an increase in food, and as you can see from my weight tracker, I started to gain weight quite rapidly. And so through July, and it did drop initially, it went down to 81, which was really weird, but then it started to go up. I was 83, 84, 84, and then I remember being 84 consistently. I stayed at 85 for quite a while. I thought maybe that was like my set weight. But then I started a gymnastics program by Equation Train. They're really good. My main problems with CrossFit is that my gymnastics isn't very good, so although I can do like ring muscle ups and bar muscle ups, my ring muscle ups are okay, but my bar muscle ups tend to sometimes be like a chicken wing, and I just don't have the upper body strength to like rep them out. So I got on a program and I've started gaining quite a lot of upper body muscle, 85, and then it started to increase from there. And as you can see over the last month, where I've honestly seen the most progress in my gymnastics, which is really weird because I didn't want to gain weight because I thought it would make my gymnastics worse, and I am now much better than I was. My weight has gone 87, 88, so that's where I sit at the moment for the last 17th of September, and it's now the 1st of October, so for the last half a month I've been 88 kilos. Which is honestly, it's really difficult for me. I'm still battling that thought in my head that I'm really heavy, and the body dysmorphia gets even worse, especially when I'm stressed. I start to think that I'm like obese again. I start to think that I'm back to like my 18 stone self, and I know I'm not, but I have to ask my boyfriend sometimes, like, am I massive again? I just really worry because my health is so important to me, and I knew how unhealthy it was for me to be that weight. But body dysmorphia is not really what people think. It's like literally wearing a fat suit. Like, I probably don't mean that in the way you think I mean it. I mean it like I physically feel much bigger than I am. Like, I look at a chair and I think I can't fit in that chair, or I look at, it's funny because my boyfriend laughs at me a lot for this, but I'll look at like a corridor or like a pathway where there's like a car parked, and I'm like, I can't get down that, we need to go around. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, like I can't get past that car, it's too narrow. And he's like, what are you on about? Like, you're like so much smaller than you think you are. But I've just still got that in my head. I like still feel I'm the size that I used to be. Yeah, there's lots of really weird things I do to kind of accommodate for my size, but my perception of my own size is that I am still like a size 24, like 18 stone, and I'm not. But yeah, that's kind of another thing, and I battle with that. I will still battle with that. Some days are worse than others. So I'm actually sat in a little car park. It's the day that I'm editing the video that you're watching, and I am feeling a bit better, but I know hopefully it doesn't sound like I'm too sad about being heavy, but I've been thinking about it a lot, and I struggled a lot this week with my mental health and a lot of other things. So I think, especially because I've got body dysmorphia, when I'm struggling mentally, I feel much worse about how heavy I am. But today I was having some conversations in the gym and it made me think about it a little bit better. So And one thing I've thought about myself is that all of the CrossFit athletes that are good at their sport have like massive upper body muscles, and that's something that I haven't had for a very long time. And I'm just at the point now where I'm starting to build the upper body muscle, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm really proud of how far I'm coming in my gymnastics, and the compromises that I have to be a bit heavier, but that's totally okay. And I know I sound like I'm trying to convince myself there, and it's because I am trying to convince myself. I'm still not comfortable with having that number attached to me, I'm still not comfortable being like 13 stone, 88 kilos or whatever. And I know I've got a bit more fat than I would normally have, but the point of that is I'm getting stronger, I'm getting better at my sport, and by the time I've built all the muscle that I need to be able to consistently rep out muscle ups and do handstand walks and do all of those things, I can then do them in workouts and do them faster, and that is going to start to make me leaner again. So although I put on a bit of body fat now, it's not going to be there forever. It doesn't define me as a person, and that's totally okay. There is no reason for me to be down about it, because it's just, at the end of the day, it's a bit of body fat which is healthy for people to have. It's not the end of the world. And being heavy is not a bad thing. I'm stronger for it, and I wouldn't care. I honestly wouldn't care if I was 90 kilos and I could rep out muscle ups and I could do all of that stuff in a workout. So that is the goal, and that should be anybody else's goal if that is your goal. Like, don't think about weight, think about what you want to do. Don't worry about how much you weigh. Comment below, like, give me your weight, tell me what weight you are, and let's see how irrelevant it is, because so many of us weigh so many different weights. We shouldn't be comparing ourselves to the CrossFit Games athletes, because they're all short, let's be honest. I'm currently filming a full day of eating as a heavy girl. I'm a heavy girl. I'm tall and I'm heavy, and people want to see what I eat because of that, because basically most full day of eatings on YouTube don't really represent people like me, because I'm much bigger than the average population as a girl because of my muscle mass, and I'm much heavier than that, so I eat a lot. So yeah, tune in to watch that. And I'm actually, having started to film this, I'm feeling much more comfortable about my weight and the conversations I had today. So let's get jacked, let's get big and heavy, because who cares at the end of the day? My goal is to be good at my sport, and I want to be able to do all the cool gymnastics things, and I'm not going to let being a certain weight hold me back anymore, because a number does not define me, and it shouldn't define you either. So I'll get back on with the video again. Back to me. At the moment it's pretty bad. Like, it has been really bad over the last couple of months because I've been gaining the weight. I'm trying to remind myself that I'm doing this because I want to be able to eat in a way that serves my performance and helps me improve. It's really hard when people do comment on me gaining weight, and I think it comes from a place that they're worried about me, and they're worried that I'm gonna go back to the way I was, but I'm not. I'm just on a journey where I'm trying to gain a bit of muscle, and I'm trying to get my eating habits back to normal, and I'm sort of at the end of that now. Like, my hunger cues have started to come back quite normally. My appetite has started to decrease quite dramatically. I think I'm eating exactly the amount that I need. I haven't had a relapse with my eating disorders since going on this weight gain journey. It hasn't triggered anything, which is really good. And I honestly might sound quite negative, but I feel really good about how far I've come. I've stopped associating like progress and being good at my sport and value with weight, because actually my value is not tied to my weight, and there is nothing wrong with being 88 kilos. One thing I don't want to do is I don't want to gain lots of body fat, so if that did start to happen, then I potentially would consider reducing my calorie intake, but that would only happen if I was binge eating again, which I'm not doing. Sorry, I'm itching my chest. I do that when I'm anxious. Now my chest is all red, so I put the weighted blanket on. Oh. Yeah, so I've started to accept it that this is the weight that I'm gonna be, and it is really hard for me. But I know I've spoken about this quite a lot on my Instagram, and I've said to people that we shouldn't be caring about our weight, and I tried to publicly speak about how heavy I am, and I had a huge influx of messages from women that are my height and taller, and 85, 88, 90 kilos, 100 kilos, females that are badass lifters, lifting weights, gaining muscle, and none of them are unhealthy. They all look like me. They all physically look like me. They just happen to be between 85 and 100 kilos, and that's totally okay. We shouldn't be so concerned over our weight. Like, I think about it in the way that my boyfriend and like other men think about it. They see a gain on the scales, they see their weight go up, and they're like, yes, cool, I've gained like another kilo of muscle or whatever. And I'm like, I want to feel like that. I do feel like that sometimes, but at the moment it's hard because I'm so much heavier than I expected to be. This was really, it was my journey to intuitive eating, and I promise you, I've been meaning to do it for ages, but it's just, logistically it's quite hard because obviously I work in a school, so I can't do a video of eating in a day when I'm at work. I may try and do one this Saturday, but yeah, I'm gonna do what I eat in the day. And it's been a really good, like, healthy journey for me, which I didn't expect. I expected to crave donuts. I expected to only want to eat chocolate all the time, and I wasn't gonna do that. I wouldn't have let myself do that, but that was one of my worries, that was what it was gonna lead to, but it didn't. So anyway, I hope I haven't rambled on too much, and I hope you found it a little bit interesting. But I just wanted to be real with you, I think, because I've been going through this journey since June, and I've been quite quiet about it because I'm really worried that people will judge me because I'm now not dieting, which I think is really silly, because everyone should be able to come off it and to be able to come off tracking. But I'm not worried about you guys judging me. I'm worried about the people in my life that monitor my weight or that comment on my weight quite a lot, which I really don't need. No, I don't think anybody needs that, especially when you're like me, a healthy normal weight. But there are just some people that are very shocked by females that eat a lot of food and weigh a lot. But that is their problem. If they find that challenging and hard to deal with, they should keep that to themselves and not try and manipulate my eating habits because they feel uncomfortable with it. I'm trying to lead a normal life where I don't need an app to rule what I eat, and that is where I am right now, and it's worked, and I'm really pleased about that. It's still a journey, and I'm still struggling with the gaining weight, and I don't know when it's gonna stop, but as long as I'm gaining muscle and I'm improving in CrossFit, that is all that matters to me right now. And I feel like I've got energy as long as I feel healthy, and I feel healthier and more energetic than I've ever felt. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. There is nothing wrong with being 88 kilos. I wouldn't trade my muscles to be 8 kilos lighter. Wow, it would have to be 8 kilos. Or it'd have to be more, it'd have to be like 9 kilos for me to get to my goal weight before. That's stupid. And if you're gaining weight because you're gaining muscle, don't worry about it, because it's cool. Like, we need to make this a thing, because men are chuffed when they put on weight, so we should be chuffed. We should be like, yeah, I'm so strong, I bet I can bench more. So if you want any more videos like this, if you've got anything to say, or please don't comment on my weight though, but if you've got anything to say that is constructive or anything you want to ask, then just please drop me a comment below. I'm happy to answer any of your questions, and if this is something that you want to try, I'm happy to give more comprehensive tips. I know I've just kind of rambled about my really weird journey through the process, but hopefully some of it was understandable. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because it does really help the video, and let's get it out there for other people to see, because gaining weight is cool. Gaining weight is cool. That is the message. Gaining weight is cool. Muscle weighs more than fat. Having muscle is cool. And please subscribe to the channel, because I know that quite a lot of you that watch my videos aren't subscribers. I'm here to stay, so you might as well subscribe, because basically I'm going to be making a video every single week for the foreseeable future, and there'll be more that you've been requesting coming up. I'm definitely going to do full day of eatings. I'm going to talk more about weight gain, weight loss, eating disorders, all of those things. If you suggest, then I will obviously do more that you want to watch. Please subscribe to the channel because then you'll see all of them, and you can tick the little notification bell as well so that they pop up every time I post a video, and that will be Sunday night. So make sure you get on that app on Sunday night and watch my videos that are coming up. Remember guys, if you want to lose weight, if you want to gain muscle,